So welcome friends, this is the second session on the topic of team management, and in the first session we discussed that common goal is the most important characteristic of the team, and then team members need to understand that they need to subordinate their individual ambitions for the sake of common goal of the team. We discussed different types of teams. We discussed about some challenges for effective team management, and we also discussed that what are the characteristics, what are the traits for effective team management. Now, in this second session, we will understand that why team is required. We need to understand that teams are required for completing any bigger task. If you are willing to write a paper in non-review journals, if you are willing to write a paper in pediatric journals, then probably team is not required. You alone can write paper in those pediatric journals. But if we are talking of publishing in Q1 category journals, if we are talking of publishing in top ranking A-star journals, then team is required. If you go to Nature, you will find there are papers which are published by as many as 50 authors, and that shows that the entire lab is working as a team and entire lab is contributed in writing that paper, and then only it has come to that level of publication. So, team is required for bigger task, for tasks which are beyond capabilities of individuals, and writing research paper for top ranking journal also require effective teams. The meaning of team here is understood in this way that 1 plus 1 is equal to 11, not 2. If you understand that 1 plus 1 is equals to 2, that means it is not effective team management. When 1 plus 1 is producing 11, then it is effective team management. So, that is what we require for publishing in top ranking journals. For this purpose, this is the bigger task. Here our objective is, here our common goal of the team is to publish in top ranking journal, and for that purpose these teams are required. And for effective teamwork, so that we can achieve that common goal, we are presenting a 10-step model for effective teamwork, and this is that 10-step model for effective teamwork. So, let us start discussions on this particular model of effective teamwork. It talks of establishing direction and goals for the team, that is the, let me also number them for your convenience, that establishing direction and goals for the team. Then second is establish clear roles and ground rules for the team. Third is establish accountability for the performance of the team. Fourth is develop team leadership skills. Fifth is develop communication skills for team leaders and team members. Team leader can be in this case a mentor also. Then sixth is develop conflict resolution skills for team leaders and team members. Seventh is establish a well defined decision making process for the team and empower team members to be part of the process. Eighth is establish positive team behaviors, ethics and trust among team members. Ninth is recognize and reward effective team performance, and finally continually evaluate, improve and build the team. So, these are 10-step process for effective teamwork. Now, we will discuss them one by one. So, the first is establishing direction and goals for effective teamwork. And what do we mean by establishing direction and goals? We need to demonstrate how to write a team charter. What are the common goal of the team? So, the charter is very required, which is going to assign the responsibilities, explain how to write a team mission statement, demonstrate how to write team goals, explain how to write team assignments, and demonstrate how to write team schedules and deadlines. So, all these things are essential beginning requirements for the work of a team. If you have clarity, if you have demonstrated these things properly, it will help you in execution of your team activity later on. So, the first important point is to establish direction and goals, and when I am saying direction and goal, we need to fulfill these different activities under that aspect. When I am talking of the first thing under this as team charter. Now, what is this team charter? Team charter is containing of this contains mission statement, the goals of the team, assignments related to team, and schedule and deadlines for the team. So, these are 4 important aspects of team charter. So, all these 4 things will help you later on to have a proper effective team management. The second important step in effective teamwork is to establish clear roles and ground rules for the teams. When you have explained the role of team leader, because mentor is there. In India, when you take a new PhD scholar, the PhD scholar will come to you, that he will say, she will say that sir, what is the topic I am going to research on? Now, that scholar feels that the teacher, the faculty will have a list of topics available with him, and out of that list, one topic will be assigned to that research scholar. Because we do not have the clarity about the role of team leader. If that faculty, that professor, that supervisor is the team leader, you expect that he should be able to guide you to that nitty-gritty of the research. He is not a database, he is not the ready-made solution of that particular problem, but he, because of more experience, he, because of more accessibility of the information, he is knowledgeable, experienced, so he is able to see things at a distance, and all these things make that leader, that mentor capable of guiding you. So, you need to understand what are the roles, responsibility of the team leader, and similarly what are the roles, responsibility of the team member. So, when this role clarity is there, then it becomes a very good team management. But many a times we do not have the role clarity. Your student will come to you, will give you a manuscript. Sir, I want to submit this paper to XYZ journal, and now it is supposed that your supervisor, your mentor will do editing, the proofreading of that particular paper. So, that type of work we are expecting. We are not expecting the knowledge work from our supervisor, but we are expecting proofreading work from our supervisor. So, that is the mismatch of role clarity. Therefore, we do not have effective team management. So, this is a important thing. Then another important thing is to demonstrate how to develop ground rules for team members. You also need to showcase a process of developing the ground rules, that what are the steps we need to take for developing the ground rules. So, that is also a kind of development of the team members. If because these team members will be future team leaders. So you also need to tell them as a mentor, as a team leader, that how these ground rules are developed. And then for developing the ground rules, what are the guidelines? So let us see those guidelines quickly. From a cross-functional ad hoc team to develop a standard list of issues teams should consider when developing ground rules. Circulate the draft list of issues among all employees company-wide and ask for their inputs. Have the ad hoc committee finalize the standard list of issues based on employee input. So, the purpose of developing this team ground rule is like a democratic exercise. You need to involve the team members in developing the ground rules. The basic idea of this particular slide is that only that we need to involve all the team members. When you involve all the team members in developing the ground rules, then it becomes very easy. It is very you can say smooth activity to implement those ground rules. If as a team leader you only develop the ground rules and you ask your team members to follow those rules, then it is quite possible that there may be some kind of resistance in following those rules. But when you involve them in the process of development of those rules, that resistance will not be there. So, that is the essence of developing the team ground rules. Then another important step is to establish accountability. Now, to establish accountability, the meaning is explain how to build a foundation for accountability, distinguish between formal and informal accountability. There has to be some kind of visible accountability and there need to be some kind of virtual accountability also. Explain the concept of accountability for team leaders, explain the concept of accountability for team members. These things of explaining the concept of accountability for team leaders and team members, this will follow when you have the role clarity. So, whether I am performing my role as per my ground rules or not. So, as per the ground rules, what are my responsibilities, what are my duties, what are my authorities, accordingly you can check my accountability with respect to team. Let us say if a team member has to be present physically from 9 AM to 5 PM in the lab, and if you have this kind of role clarity for the team member, and if the team member is not available on a particular day at around 3 PM in the lab, because team member knows that leader is not there today, so I can go off from the lab. That means the team member is not accountable for the common goal of the team. So, your role clarity will help you, your ground rules will help you in developing the concept of accountability for leaders and for team members. And then explain the concept of peer accountability. We are responsible to team. So, team is what? Team is actually the group of people, and when we have peer accountability, that means from one to one we also need to develop a kind of accountability that I am accountable to you, you are accountable to me. So, this kind of arrangement is known as peer accountability. So, when we know that everybody is accountable to everybody else in the team, then it is very easy for achieving the objective, achieving the common goal of the team. So, that is establish accountability in the team. Now, this particular slide is all about elements that can make up the foundation for accountability, and in this case what is expected from individual and the team as a whole, and the role clarity, the ground rules, that all will help you in developing the foundation for accountability. Next is developing the team leadership skill. That is another important you can say step in effective leadership. We discussed the 10 steps of effective leadership. So, this is also a important step in that list of 10 steps. Now, leadership is the single most important ingredient in achieving consistent peak performance in the team. In team, the role of leader is very important, because as leader guides, accordingly the whole team is going to function. So, the role of leader and developing good leadership skill is a very, you can say, Herculean task. It is not so easy. You may by virtue of your designation be a leader, but you need to exhibit real leadership skill when you are able to take your team to new heights, when you can take your team to a better objective, better goals, higher goals, which others have not achieved before you. That is the true leadership skill. So that with good leadership, ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results. So that is the meaning of leadership, that how you can take your team to very high level of objectives, high level of output with that kind of motivation, that kind of guidance, that kind of mentorship you are going to provide. So we discussed in this particular session some of the important steps in the development of effective team for our academic writing. With this, we come to end of this session. Thank you very much.